Morning, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful Easter with your family since we're all in our homes. I trust that everyone enjoyed hanging out with their family. I have to say, Easter for us was one of the best ones actually ever. We had a seafood feast and all sorts of stuff, hung out with the kids, played a ton of games, and just chilled out and relaxed because we actually really needed it after about 3.5, 4 weeks of a lot of stuff going on around the business, our USA tour and New Zealand, and tomorrow we're going Canada and US. We're testing a brand new, I've got something in my we're testing a brand new webinar that's 90 minutes long, and it's going to be a free one. So I've got something stuck in my eye. Hang on a second, guys. Okay, I think I'm better. And today I thought, what a perfect time to talk about juggling kids, babies, toddlers, preschoolers, in terms of the current climate and running our businesses. A lot of people that follow me and listen to me or learn from me do have their own children at home right now, and a lot of people that I mentor are working from home, same as us actually on the weekend. My mum was here and for the Easter break, and she helped me rejig my whole office from the offline world to the online world, even though I was already set and set up. But as you guys know, I do a lot of events, a lot of traveling, international and national, so a lot of things that I have to pack all the time were around. So I kind of put them in the back cupboard behind this banner, and I opened up, I put all my things that I need for my online delivery. And I did my nails. I did my shellac nails myself, so that when I'm talking on calls, I have my nails made up. Very cool. All right, so we're going to talk about juggling kids and business in ISO, and how do we do that? Well, why am I an expert to talk about this? Well, even before ISO, for the last 10 years, well, I'm nearing my 10-year anniversary in business. So good morning to all of you who have joined. I have been juggling babies, toddlers, preschoolers, primary school kids for the last 10 years. And actually, I only had one child when I started this business. Happy Easter, Bernie. And he was 18 months old. And then I was pregnant with two more. And then I had to do everything between boobs, babies, and business. And so even before we had this current situation right now, I was juggling the kids, especially because they were non-school kids, so they did need to stay home, and we had a couple of days of care with them, but literally we have juggled this whole business in the last decade around our young and very and growing family. But certainly new challenges are upon us with everything that's going on, and perhaps I can share some insight as to how we continue to do things just as well, just as effectively, and everyone is still happy and the household is in order and there's no mess and everyone knows their position and what they need to be doing and when we're doing it, and we're in a wonderful routine. Okay, so I have got here about 10 or 12 points to talk about in terms of what it is. If you have other tips of what you're doing in your homes around, hey Zelda, happy Easter, around what you are doing to juggle your kids and your business, especially if it's a business that you're working from home and you're running from home, I would love to know, because I'm always looking for little tips and ideas on how to improve and get better at that. Okay, so one of the things we have found, especially in the last 3 or 4 weeks, that has worked really, really well is for our kids to understand that Monday through to Friday is like a normal working week, which it always has been anyway for us from home. And also, when the weekend is around or after 5 p.m., because I think as much as we try to step away from a routine lifestyle of the 9 to 5, ultimately when you establish a business that's got systems, people are employed by it, you've got regular clientele, and it just runs like a proper business. Unlike, in the beginning, it can be sort of really weird and all over the place and messy. Ultimately, what you end up coming back to is that normal routine. When is my starting work time? When is lunchtime? When is morning tea? When do I finish for the day? And what kind of boundaries do I put when it comes to weekends and public holidays? So today is a public holiday. Yes, I'm doing my lives because I like to have this is part of my routine. My Monday morning lives, even though I won't be working for the rest of today, it is the public holiday. I still love my Monday morning lives because it's something that I've committed to doing. Now, if I don't want to do it, I won't do it, but it really gets me going into the mindset of when the week starts. And same thing with the kids. I kind of go, okay, I'm going to do my Monday morning lives, and that's kind of their signal that the working week is beginning. And they know, of course, if I'm in the office, that I'm doing stuff, and they can knock on the door, whatever it is, but they know that we're focusing and concentrating on, maintaining our lifestyle and having the routine and providing for the family, if you like. So they kind of know that this is what mum and dad do when they're sitting in their workplaces. So you need to anchor where your working place will be. Where is it? In a separate room? Do you have an office? Do you have a spot in the house where when you sit on that spot is when you're actually trying to focus? So really communicating ahead of time what is going to happen. So we're always talking about the next day with our kids. So tomorrow, guys, we've got calls between 9 and 2, and I think about 2:30 we're going to be finished for the day. Then we can play some games and do such and such. And then also, as the day goes on, I've just got a couple of more hours and we're going to do this afterwards. So always pre-framing and pre-communicating what is going to happen and how long it's going to take. You wouldn't believe how kids respond to timing and knowing where things are at. They're really amazing. What Stuart and I also have been doing lately, we purchased this online program about 2 months ago, but we hadn't got the time to study it and listen to all the modules and videos. It's called the Smart Kids Chore System, and it's a really cool online program which teaches you how to encourage and how to build your family unit in terms of who does what and when things are done, and how to almost train your kids into being a valuable contributor to the family. So we have been watching one of the 5 modules. Like, there's lots of videos. It takes about 5 hours to go through the whole course, and we're through like 3 hours. And one of the best things that we discovered or learned about is about bringing in a timer. So I went on eBay and I purchased 4 timers in 4 different colors, so everyone got to choose their color, and being very specific with the instructions and how long we're going to take to do a thing. So for example, yesterday we did a family cleanup after Easter. My mum went home and basically we said, okay, family cleanup. We know I'll vacuum the house, someone else is going to dust, other people are going to empty the bins, everything was kind of laid out. We've got 15 minutes to do it. Put your timers on, boom, and the timers go on, and actually know that this is not going to take forever, that it's going to be kind of really focused, and they know what they're doing, and off they go. And in 15 minutes, the house was like absolutely spotless and ready for the new week, if you like. And so we've been doing things like that, where it's like, come on guys, lots of leaves have fallen out in the backyard. Put 8 minutes on your clock and off you go. Pick up all the leaves around the house. And they actually have really embraced the fact, they've got these little timers and they can put them on. So that's working really well for us, because everyone can get into this mode of, oh, I can't be bothered, just sitting around and all that kind of stuff. You can get into that cycle of laziness if you don't have things to do. So each day before we get on to the next day, we go, well, what are we going to achieve the following day? And because everyone wants to have and feel that sense of achievement each and every day. And we have been taking a little bit out of every day. Okay, let's declutter this area, let's look at this and all that kind of stuff. Good morning, Nat and Jody, I can see you guys there. All right, so organize lunches and snacks in the morning as per normal. This was a cool tip that my PA Viv gave me. She said, Nat, why don't you guys just pack their lunches like you do for school, and their snacks and all that kind of stuff, and just let them then go through all that so that you're not stopping and starting and all that kind of stuff all the time. So pre-organize them in the morning. and then they can access what they've been given to eat for the day just like they would at school. And I thought that was a cool idea, so we started doing that, and certainly we're going to continue doing that, through now. The school term is starting on Wednesday here, and so all their online learning is set up, and that's how we're going to go through the day so that we're also productive, but at the same time they're productive as well. All right, and the next one, so I talked about what we've loved doing is, for our own little break in the business, is actually playing games with them in breaks. So if especially in the lunch break, because the morning tea and afternoon tea breaks are kind of a bit shorter, you might grab a coffee or whatever, you might check in, see what they're doing. But during lunchtime, we eat for 15 minutes, and then you've got like 45 minutes to muck around and play. So we might play a game of trouble or mini golf. We've been playing mini golf in our backyard, having little comps and things like that. And what that does, it's not only beneficial for the children, because they get to connect and hang out with you, and not see you for the 8 hours, but it actually switches your mind off from what you have been doing, and you're able to have a proper break, rather than often when I actually don't have the kids at home and they're in school. At lunch, I'll just eat my 15 minutes and my head is already still turning over with what business stuff I need to do. And I actually don't even take my full lunch break, because I'll just come back to the computer and I'll start mucking around, and off we go, work through lunch. But right now, playing games. Morning, Megan. Playing games during lunch, the lunch break, it actually allows me to have a proper break. So it's actually a gift in disguise, in terms of and then return back to the work mode after the hour, and get going. And they also feel happy because they've been, hung out with and played with and all that sort of stuff. They get their little injection of mum or dad, and then we continue on with the day. So really, really cool to play games in the breaks, because it relaxes our mind and helps us take a proper break away from the business. All right, next one is, I will talk about the Smart Kids chore system and how we've introduced like timers and scheduled amounts of time. You don't need to actually get them to do anything for more than 15 minutes. Sometimes it's like the other day, I go, come on girls, let's empty the dishwasher, let's see how long it takes us. And we put the timer. I said, I think we can do it in 2 minutes. And we put 2 minutes on, and like we did it a minute and 45 seconds. Of course, there was 3 of us doing it, but they saw that actually doing a chore or a task in the household doesn't have to take this is going to take like 2 hours. No, it doesn't. It's like 2 minutes to unpack a dishwasher. If you're doing it on your own, maybe 4. Picking up leaves in the backyard, it like takes 7 minutes, right? Doing the whole house, like a quick clean, not a bathroom clean kind of thing, but dusting, vacuuming, and emptying bins and just putting everything away takes 15 minutes for the whole family. That's all it takes. Of course, we do run a very minimalist household. We declutter all of the time and all that, so it's a lot faster for us. This is the whole purpose of not having a lot of things, is so you can get everything in perfect order in a very short period of time. So that works really well. Be very specific and introduce the timer, and they actually thrive with it. All right, so decluttering on weekends. So that's what we'll be doing, decluttering on weekends. Why do we declutter? Actually, it's not so much about for the decluttering, but what the kids do is they actually feel really excited about discovering things they have forgotten about. And when they actually have their things really neatly, easily accessible, like drawing and painting and all that kind of stuff, they use it a lot more. Hey, Virginie. So they use it a lot more, and therefore they're excited about playing with certain things, and that's why reorganizing stuff gets them all excited about using different toys, and actually enjoying their space. And that's why, yesterday we went through the book cupboard. We have this book cupboard in the laundry, and basically I said to Zara, go to your bedroom. She has books she reads every night. Bring all those books you've read a million times. Let's bring in some new stories. So we decluttered the book cupboard, and then brought in more books that she hasn't read or had a look at all. So now last night we started reading brand new books, and she goes, oh, I love that story, and that was really cool. So we kind of did 2 things. We renewed what kind of book she was gonna get rid. And at the same time, we decluttered a cupboard, and now it's also well organized. So she even, all her activity books and all that are organized, so she can now play with a lot of them. So on weekends, I like to do 1 or 2 areas. As I said, I did my office on Saturday. I did that book cupboard on Sunday. That last week we did their room, and we just kind of go through the different areas and get moving. Like, it just keeps you moving anyway, so that you stay active, and you're not just sitting on the couch. All right, so that's what we do, and that's what we find, that then during the week, everything just they find things to do for themselves, and they keep themselves entertained and in the zone of being creative. All right, so next one is treat business hours as business hours, and weekends and evenings as that. It's no different, right? And this is where it takes me back to talking about the routines, that ultimately, yes, we're looking for a flexible laptop lifestyle or whatever it is, but we also thrive on routines. So if you end up treating those days and times as what they're meant to be, then you will find that everyone in the family will have that routine where they get up. The funny thing that happened last week, we were talking about getting up, getting dressed, because there was one day the girls didn't come out of their pajamas. I said, come on, guys, if it's the weekend, I don't mind if you stay in I stayed all day in my pajamas yesterday for Easter. But if it's like Monday to Friday, I want you to get up, I want you to have breakfast, I want you to get yourself dressed. Look at me, like, this is what I did. I put my makeup on, and the next day I get up and I see they've put eyeshadow on, so they've gotten all dressed up, and they've put eyeshadow on themselves, to go, and they've put their makeup on. It's like, yeah, you don't need to do that. But it was funny that they literally took what I did and then modeled that. All right, so the following one is, so treat business hours as business hours and weekends as weekends, and it's no different from your everyday usual lifestyle. Work while they sleep to catch up. So this is one strategy that actually I utilized a lot more when I had babies or toddlers that used to have that middle of the day sleep. And of course, if you're one of those parents who have a really, really young child that needs constant supervision, and they cannot be left like to draw, like now our ones are, prep grade 3 and grade 6, they're fairly self-sufficient. But if you have that a young baby or toddler, and then that's what I used to do. Literally, the minute that hit the the 2 hour sleep in the middle of the day, I'd be like, concentrate, do as much as I can, do, or get up super early. And when the house is super quiet, just get a lot of focused work done. Or wait till they go to bed at night. And if they're a really young child, obviously they'll be going to bed 6 or 7 o'clock. So I guess rejig your routine hours to the hours when perhaps the child is going to be asleep, and you can get at least a block of 2 hours done. If you do 3 blocks of 2 hours, you've done a lot of work in a day, especially if it's something you've got to focus on. You're a lot more productive when you're not distracted by anything else. Okay, so work while they sleep to catch up so early, and you will be a lot faster, a lot more productive than trying to get something done during the hours that you have got them around to entertain. All right, I have do not disturb signals and signs, right? And this is something that came off from reading the book Indistractable, like just over the Christmas period of time. And basically it was to buy these little crowns that had little LED lights, and they were our concentration crowns. And when someone wears those crowns, it means do not disturb, do not talk to me, because you'll really derail me from my thinking and all that kind of stuff. And another way of doing it is to put a do not disturb sign on your computer that sits up at the top, so if anyone comes near you and that's on, has been raised, the little flag, that means do not disturb. Because I know Stuart's working place is on the dining table. I'm in the office, so I'm actually, like, I close the door, and that's kind of my signal or sign, don't come in, don't distract me. But for him, like, he does certain things in the lounge room that sort of give the flag that don't talk to me. And we know now, either to ask a question, like if I go in and have you got time to talk, or can you be disturbed, or something like that, rather than assuming. Because often what happens when you work at home with someone else, or for us is 3 people, so Viv doesn't work at the moment from my house, but she normally does, and you can just start talking to people, and they could be right in the middle of concentration of something. So so it's really, really important that when you see someone working on a computer, maybe just ask them nicely if you know, can I talk to you, or do you need 10 minutes and come back to me, or whatever it is. It's really, really important. Otherwise you can really wreck someone's train of thought, and it takes so long to come back to that. Okay, so do not disturb signs and signals. What else is there? Take it in turns if you have a partner to entertain your kids. So take it in turns. It's not every single lunchtime you need to play with them. You know, it could be the mum or the dad or whoever, the guardian, whoever it is that can entertain the kids and can take it in turns. We're very blessed to also have mum as our support person, but she's also employed within our business. So part of how we utilize her is to help us for a day or two when we're doing events like tomorrow. You know, she'll get them and drop them off in the afternoon the following day, because she's part of our core family unit, and basically, you know, we are sharing around the child rearing so we can keep the business going, because right now we're in the most busiest period ever in 10 years, because we're preparing for 30 authors to sit their retreat in early May, the first weekend in May and the second weekend in May. We've got 2 groups of 15, which means I'm prepping for 30 people to go through the program, and it's massive because I'm normally prepping for 10 or 15 or 17 at the most, not 30. So it's a lot of stuff is going on right now that we need to stay on top of and service our clients. All right, so the next one is it's okay for them not to be entertained and have some quiet time and or be bored on some of the days. Okay, so so don't feel like you need to be like all of the time, you know, the person that's entertaining and providing activities and games and is playing with them. It's okay for them to have that quiet time to go into their rooms, to sit there, or to do some things on their own. And if they're bored from time to time, that's also normal. It happens during school holidays anyway. It happens on the random weekend or whatever it is. So it's okay. You don't have to be constantly providing. And it's really about constant, you know, clear communication that you need to be doing the stuff, you know, and you're doing it for the whole family. You know, when you're running a business, you're not just doing it because, oh my God, mom's just playing in the business, even though I do find it super entertaining, and I'm obsessed by my business. But at the same time, you know, they know that what we're doing is because we need to like look after everyone, and that we're responsible for so many people's livelihoods if this business runs well. You know, we're not just, it's our family core unit, but it's all of our suppliers and vendors and other people that are employed, like my VA, my PA, my mum, that we're actually looking after. So, you know, we're responsible. So therefore they learn and understand what responsibility means. Okay, so encourage them to chat to their friends on FaceTime and Zoom. It's very important they continue their social interaction with their friends. And every single one of our 3 kids, even the preppy, has had or has regular Zoom and or house house party calls, you know, where they just talk to their friends and just talk about everyday stuff, and they play a game or whatever it is. Even the 5-year-old, you know, meets with her friend and they're showing each other dolls and they're showing each other their rooms. The other day was funny. They even, like, because it was the morning, Saturday morning, so like, okay, let's get dressed, and off they go, and they're putting on a dress or a top or whatever, and they were brushing their hair. Like, she took the computer to the bathroom and they're brushing their hair. You know, I'm gonna brush my hair now. I'm just gonna put a little bit of eyeshadow or whatever it is. But it's important to you know, for them to connect with their own people. Like, I do Friday night drinks with friends in business with my author group, where on 7 till 9 p.m. on Friday night, we just grab a few drinks and I sit here and I just chit chat and say, what are we celebrating this week? What questions do we have? What do you want to share? You know, we talk about things. How do you do your nails? How do you get your hair? And what are you guys doing about haircuts and all that kind of, so just social kind of stuff. So it's important that we continue to have that real life sort of as close to real life connection with the people that we you know, our peers. And so it is for the kids. So do allow them. It does work for really little kids as well. I reckon from 4 years up it would work, because Zara's friend is a year younger than her, and Zara's 5 and she's like 4.5. So, and they're like, you know, talking, and her friend's mum said, "Oh my God, thank you so much," because she's a single mum and she's like really on her own with her daughter. And she said, "Thank you so much for entertaining her for the last hour and a half, because I've got my shower done, I've put away my clothes, I've tidied my house, I did this," and the girls are like super happy. So then think about it. You could be helping another parent take care of themselves, especially if they're a single parent and they don't have as much support as what you might have. So think about all of that bonus stuff as well. All right, last one here on my list is keep the same bedtime and wake time. So certainly now we've been a little bit more lenient because it's like school holidays hours, like time, and they've gone to bed a little bit later than normal, like half an hour. But say the official first school day will be Wednesday, so they'll move back into their exact bedtimes for each child, because they go half an hour apart from one another, from like 8:39 and 9:30 for us, and keeping that same time, and sort of having a wake time that's reasonable, so they get dressed, breakfast and whatever. And of course, in the first few days, supervising their Google Classrooms and seeing that they're on top of their curriculum and work. Something that I learned the other day, that maybe you haven't seen this video, but it was from a doctor who mentors a lot of parents and parents with children and all that kind of stuff, is that he said, don't be too hard on yourself. He said a couple of hours of schoolwork a day for each child is sufficient to stay on top of the curriculum, because literally when they're at school, the school and the teachers cater for classrooms of 20 to 25 children, and that's why the school day takes 6.5 hours. But realistically, if the child's on their own and they're going through this work on their own or with a parental supervision, a couple of hours should keep them on top of their curriculum. And the rest of the time, let them do things that they enjoy, get outside in the backyard or whatever it is, and whatever they like. If it has to be on on the iPad, give them some extra time there or whatever it is, if that's what you guys do. So that's going to be our way forward as the term begins, is to ensure they do their curriculum requirements through their Google Classrooms, and the rest of the time they can just be kids, right? And that's what he said, just let them be kids and they'll find their way around all of this. And of course, they are way more resilient than adults are sometimes. So just think about that. I think they're doing great, and because they know everyone's in the same boat, they don't feel like they're missing out. All right, so I hope that some of these tips of what I have covered off, I'll actually do my summary. I'll post what I have written down here on my notes, and so that kind of you have all my dot points of what I've just spoken about in a summary, if you don't want to watch this whole thing. But it is important, if you did catch on late and you are one of those parents who is running their business from home, is juggling babies, boobs, business, toddlers, whatever it is, newborns, preschoolers, prep schoolers, whatever it is, check this out in its entirety and take away what you want from it. If there's something else I haven't said and you would enjoy, it works well, even Zelda's watched it, that's good. I'll tell my daughter that she will be happy with a few hours a day playing teacher. Laugh out loud. Yeah, Zelda. So yeah, if there's a parent that you think would benefit from this, coming from a parent who's been working from home in the last 10 years and is even more now, I guess, housebound, because we've moved everything that we do offline to online very successfully, and it's still, everything is getting ticked off. We're on top of our emails, we're on top of everything we need to, and we're actually in the busiest period right now. So take what feels good for you. This is not for everyone, and not every single tip will work for everyone, or neither would you want to do it. But certainly, if you want to have a great family dynamic, people pitching in and doing their thing, you can still have an amazingly organized household and business at the same time by following some of these strategies. So have an amazing rest of the week. Go and smash out whatever your goals are this week, and see you next Monday. Bye.